Welcome back. So it's late. At the time of this recording, it's actually 11:23 p.m. And obviously, I've just got back from the Quakes game, and also have spent my time in terms of writing all the notes for this CONCACAF Champions League second leg game between the Union and Club America on the board. But even that, I only got back home around 11 o'clock because the Quakes versus RSL game, which turns out to be one of the craziest game we've seen this season, ended relatively late. And not to mention, there was a lot of road work on the 101, and it took me actually almost twice as long to get back from PayPal Park to my home than it usually is. So yeah, that's why unfortunately I have to wait till this late to do the review, and I of course still have to watch some of the condensed highlights of a couple more games from this match week. Which, by the way, I think I've been able to get the review and the notes for half of those games right now, but there's also the other half that I need to do. And not to mention, MLS seems to be a little bit lazy in terms of uploading their condensed highlights because I look at some of the matchup, especially the early ones from this Wednesday action. They still have not released the condensed highlight. They only released the YouTube version of the highlights, which are like the 7.5 minute highlight. And I'm hoping eventually they do release the condensed highlight, because there were definitely some games in the early part of the Wednesday action that I definitely need to watch the condensed highlight, because some of those games was also relatively crazy. And also, if you can't tell by now, I'm not going to be doing the review tonight. But I will be doing the review, as I mentioned, between the Philadelphia Union versus Club America in the second leg of the CONCACAF Champions League. And unfortunately, it's another year of disappointment for MLS team in the CONCACAF Champions League, as it's another year where we're going to have to wait another season where an MLS team potentially is going to finally make history and become the first MLS team to win the competition, because the Union, who were the last team standing in MLS in this year's edition of CCL, bowed out against Club America in the semi-final. But in many ways, when you look at this game, yeah, the Union will be very frustrated about this game, because they had a lot of chances to get themselves back into this game and make it very interesting, especially in the second half. But this is just kind of one of those games where, a classic example of what happened when one team are not being clinical in front of goal, and the other team is able to do so, and the other team basically were able to win the game, and that other team was Club America. Now, in the first half, the game actually kicked off at 9 p.m. Eastern time exactly, and I actually tuned into this game, I think, 3 minutes after when it says 9 p.m., because I thought, with how many of these games usually never kicked off at the same time, I didn't think this was going to be the case. I thought this was going to probably kick off like 5 minutes from the advertised kickoff time, but no, for once, this game was actually kicked off bang on at 9 o'clock. So that means, unfortunately, I did miss the first couple of minutes of this game, but I didn't really miss much, because it was kind of 0-0 in the beginning part of the time when I started watching this game. And really, for the first 20 minutes in this game, there wasn't really a lot of chances for both of these teams. In fact, there was kind of like a couple of half chances for both teams, but really nothing kind of tested both keeper from both of these sides. Another thing I kind of want to mention is that there were a lot of Americans fans in the stands, which is not a big surprise, because anytime when Club America is playing, and especially you decided to have Club America to play in a big city in the Northeast quarter, yeah, there's going to be a lot of Club America fans, and I won't be surprised a lot of them not only are from the Philly area, but they probably come up from the New York area and drive down to Philly, or even from the DC area, drive down to Philly to watch this game. And keep in mind, this game was a 9 o'clock kickoff. I mean, this was a relatively late kickoff in terms of U.S. soccer standards, but you got to give credit to a lot of those America fans, making the drive even in a late kickoff. And that, again, I'm pretty sure not a lot of them are actually from the Philly area, so making that long drive and then also going back home and probably getting back very late, that is definitely shows some good commitment. But in the 20th minute, we did have our first real opportunity as Cordova puts it high from 18 yards out, and I thought America, they were definitely the better team in the early stage and was pushing to not only get the opener, but pretty much just put this tie to bed, because if America does score a goal, the Union had to score 4 goals to if they have a chance to move on into the next round. Aguilera then puts it high on the free kick from 27 yards out. There was some tempers flared between both of these teams in the 30th minute because you know that there's going to be tempers flared. Like, anytime when there's an MLS versus Liga MX match, and anytime when there's a CCL match, you know that there's going to be some bad blood in tournament. And I thought the temperature was starting to really kind of become hot, and this is getting to a point where I have a feeling later in the game we might see a full-on clash that is going on. But in the 36th minute, Glesnes, I thought he should have scored with this chance, as he basically had a free header in the back post but could not quite steer it in. And at that point, I was thinking, oh my god, that was the chance for the Union, because knowing how they weren't doing much throughout the first 35 minutes of the game, and they finally got a chance. And especially when you play a team like Club America, you have to take advantage of your opportunity that you're given. But little did I know that for that chance for the Union was actually one of many chances that they're going to get for the rest of the game. But before that, 1 minute later, Roger Martinez basically put a scissor tackle on one of the Union player that I actually forgot who exactly it was. No card was given whatsoever. And that's when you know that we are watching the CONCACAF Champions League, because, you know, you can basically have Mexican opponent or maybe even MLS opponent put a scissor tackle that, if this was in MLS, that is at least a yellow card, and maybe even could be a red card depending on certain ref. But because this is CCL and because this is the CONCACAF tournament, you know that it's not going to be anything. And especially when a Mexican team does that, you know the referee is going to not call that. Now, that being said, do I think that's fair to do? Absolutely not. But I'm just getting to a point where, you know, it is what it is with how CONCACAF works, with how their referee in terms of just kind of tend to have a little bit more leniency in terms of some of these dangerous fouls than you usually see in like, let's say in MLS. But in the 40th minute, Jose Martinez did try to curl one in, but that one goes straight to Ochoa. The Union was really starting to come into life a bit in this game. Montero then blasted into the stands in the 45th minute, but you can see the Union was having some momentum heading into the end of the first half, but we do head to halftime scoreless between both of these teams. Now in the second half, this was really the moment for the Union to get themselves the goal to really set up a very interesting second half, because they were given a penalty. It was given after Richard Sanchez brought down Kai Wagner in the box. I mean, it was a great ball that was played through to Wagner, who, you know, I feel like he probably could have maybe just put that one away instead of drawing for the penalty. But nevertheless, you know, he drew the penalty there to give the Union a chance to get the goal. And, you know, in that moment, I was really hoping that, you know, this is the moment for the Union to finally get a goal in this game, and really sets up this last 40 minutes where, you know, the momentum is going to be definitely on them. But unfortunately, Ochoa was able to make a save. And this was actually a great save from Ochoa. I mean, Montero did hit this one with power. It wasn't really the worst penalty I've seen, but Guillermo Ochoa, you know, time after time again, we've seen him make some big save, not only for Club America, but also with the Mexican national team. And here he just make a good save to pretty much push that one onto the post, and then has the ability to basically get up quickly, because, you know, on the follow-up, Corey Burke did try to stab it in, but Ochoa was able to deny him there. But, you know, that was the moment for the Union to get the opening goal. And I think Stu Holding kind of mentioned of the fact that moment could really kind of come back to haunt the Union, and that was really the moment that, you know, maybe the Union is going to basically regret later on. And I think he is right, because again, this, you know, as much as I know they still had a lot of chance after this penalty kick miss, this was really the moment where if they would have scored this penalty, they would definitely make this a very nervy last 40 minutes for Club America. Now, another thing I think Stu Holden also mentioned about that penalty is that he also keeps saying that probably Club America should be down to 10 men, and Richard Sanchez probably should have been sent off. Now, I don't know if the CONCACAF Champions League implement the double jeopardy rule, but if it isn't implemented then yeah, Stu Holden is absolutely right. I think that's a denial of goal score opportunity, and it should be a send-off. But if the CONCACAF Champions League did implement the double jeopardy rule, and for those of you that don't know exactly what the double jeopardy rule, basically, as long as if you are a player that doesn't make like a reckless kind of challenge, and at least you try to maybe make an attempt to get to the ball and ball a player down the box, it's going to be a yellow card instead of a red card. And in that case, it was kind of borderline. I mean, I kind of get what Stu Holding was trying to say, the fact that it doesn't seem like Sanchez actually got anywhere near the ball, but I feel like he at least did try to attempt to get the ball, and he just kind of got that one absolutely wrong. But like I said, if the CCL does not have the double jeopardy rule, then yeah, that is absolutely should have been a red card, and it's not the first time we've seen in CCL where a call was blown in this competition. In fact, it happens more often than not, and it always tends to go against the MLS team when that of course happened. But going to the 54th minute, Ochoa was able to deny Shibilko on the header. The Union was really trying to press it to get that elusive goal back and trying to get that first goal to set up a grandstand finish, while America, they were doing their typical CONCACAF shithousery, which is basically decided to not only have player go down easily, but also once each of those America player goes down, they basically just kind of roll on the ground a couple of times. I think Stu Holden there was actually one instant that Stu Holden kind of even count how many times an America player was rolling on the ground, because he knew that they were just time wasting, and I'm pretty sure everybody knew that they were trying their best to time waste and decided to kind of create that shithousery. And as frustrated as you are a Union fan seeing this, that's just kind of part of how the CONCACAF Champions League work, and especially when you face against a Liga MX's opponent. Now, it seemed like VAR was also kind of getting into the action of time wasting and helping America in terms of that, because in the 58th minute, the referee decided to go to VAR to check what seems like it looked like he was thinking Bedoya's challenge on Linus is worthy of red. And when I look on that VAR check, not only the fact that foul that Bedoya, or that challenge that Bedoya put on Linus is not worthy of a red, but in my opinion, it looks like it's just a regular foul. I mean, yes, it was clear that Bedoya mistimed that challenge and doesn't get to the ball, but it's just kind of one of those fouls that, you just kind of whistle, and maybe at best referee might give the offender or his last warning in terms of making that challenge, but in no way I would thought that was a red card. And I was actually also thinking that, what, I feel like it's going to be a red card. Like the way that the referee kind of go to VAR, and he actually did take his time to look at it, I feel like we're going to have another CONCACAF moment where there's going to be a blown call and the Union went down to 10 men because of this incident, even though it was clear that this shouldn't have been a red card. And to kind of my surprise, once the VAR check is over, the referee didn't send Bedoya off, and they didn't do the classic CONCACAF moment over there. But yeah, that was one that if you're the Union, that has to be very frustrated, because there was really no need for that to happen, and in some way it just kind of slowed down the momentum that they've been having and tried to press for that opening goal to get themselves back into this tie. But in the 61st minute, both teams kind of share some ill feelings again after a foul that was happened. During part after that incident, I think John Strong kind of went full meteorologist mode by saying that he's predicting that there's going to be a storm that was coming soon at Chester. And in some way, I kind of had a bit of a chuckle, because it's like, I didn't know John Strong can become a meteorologist right in the middle of the game, and he even mentioned said the fact that I can be a meteorologist and commentator there at the same time. And also, it's also kind of interesting the fact that yes, there is a storm coming soon, but it doesn't really change much. I mean, yes, maybe the grass is going to be wet, it's going to be a different way, but unless if it's like a thunderstorm, it shouldn't really delay this game or anything like that. But yeah, I kind of had a good chuckle when that of course was mentioned, and I of course had to put that on the board. But as I mentioned, the Union, they continue to dominate the second half, but just can they find that killer finish? When I of course wrote wrote that around the 63rd minute. Obviously, later on, we knew that they just could not find that killer finish. And also, the America fans, they started to be in full voice. I mean, as I mentioned, there was a lot of America fans. It almost felt like it was a road game for the Union, because besides the Suns fans in the usual section that they have on the river ends of the stadium, it was basically a ton of America fans that is basically occupied the rest of the stadium. And again, it just felt like it was a road game for the Union, and it's kind of unfortunate that, you know, this usually happens when an MLS team play against one of the more well-known team in Liga MX, and especially probably the most well-known team in Liga MX, that is Club America. That is going to happen, where unfortunately they're going to have to play at home and they get taken over by the away fans. But in the 76th minute, Burke did blaze one from 24 yards out. Before, in the 78th minute, this was the dagger for Club America that they put on the Union, as Benedetti scores from Sanchez to give Club America an elusive 1-0 lead. And you know, the reason why that was the dagger is because as soon as America would score a goal, the Union needs 4 to come back from this, and I knew that they were not going to score 4 goals in the last 12 minutes to come back from this. They did, and in some way they also kind of started to wave the white flag, because this is where Club America kind of got the momentum back toward them. Blake had to deny Benedetti, who tried to score his second goal of the game. The America fans was definitely in party mode. I mean, there was some smoke grenade that was going off in one of the session, and their party mode would continue, and they was once again in celebration mode in the 3rd minute of stoppage time, as Martins would pretty much put the cherry on the cake for Club America in this game. And yeah, in the end, the final score of this game is 2-0, just like what we saw in the first leg. And the shots in this one, it was actually dead even at 13 shots, and both teams had 5 shots on goal. 3 shots off target for the 6 that Club America has, 5 shots that was blocked for the 2 that Club America has, and possession-wise, 59% compared to 41% possession that Club America has in this game. There was one point at this game where the Union were by far having more not just the possession, but also the shots, and really a lot of the shots that Club America has came late in this game, when the Union basically just kind of waved the white flag. But yeah, I mean, this has to be a very frustrating result for the Union, and I know that coming into this game they will already have to face a mountain to climb to trying to come back from a 2-0 deficit against Club America. But when you look at how this game turns out, and especially with the chances that they have, they're definitely going to be thinking about that. But you know, they also need to know that they, as much as, you know, unfortunately they got knocked out of CCL, I still think that they should be proud of themselves to reach this far, because, as I said, you know, when I did that video talk about which MLS team could go the furthest, I didn't think the Union was going to be that team. In fact, I had the Union getting knocked out by Atlanta United in the opening round of the CONCACAF Champions League. And not only the fact that did not happen, but this team have now become the last team standing in MLS. But with that being said, you know, they will definitely be very disappointed seeing how this game goes. But again, they don't really have a lot time to have to kind of somber in terms of that, because they need to get themselves back focusing on league play. And because of the fact that a lot of the teams that is chasing the Union coming into this week, and they were able to get resort, and obviously the Union didn't play in this midweek action. That means that the Union has dropped all the way down to 9th place in the Eastern Conference, and that just kind of also conclude what has just been a miserable day for Union fans. Like, not only the fact that you basically lost the Copa America and get knocked out in CCL, but seeing other teams around you pretty much all getting wins, and now you get yourself now not only drop down the table, but drop all the way down below the red line. Yeah, this just shows you that the Union just don't have a lot of time to kind of get frustrated and kind of had to think about this game. They have to come back into league play and really start to get some wins, because when you look at their league form, it has not been good in these last couple of games. And with how a lot of the team around them have been red hot, they need to really start to get some points. And you know, now it's playoffs that they need to, of course, trying to really chase, and not just thinking about potentially maybe going back to CCL heading into next season. I mean, I don't think they're going to be back in CCL knowing where they are in the standings. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys like, smash the subscribe button. Let me know in the comments below what do you think of this game. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.